Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. Well, here we are again, getting close to a UN vote, or so-called vote, in reference to strip you of liberties of carrying your own weapons and stuff. And of course, we see that we have a tyrannical government gone mad and wild, and then what happens? You get this chaotic, insane person goes into a movie theater in Colorado, and he kills 12 people, injuring 38 others in the middle of the night, throwing tear gas in there. That's why I keep telling you. Now, I understand that my sentiments are unconventional. I understand that my opinions are what people will call old-fashioned. But I'm going back to that document called the Constitution of the United States of America, where when it was drafted because everybody carried firearms and weapons. As a matter of fact, a shock to some of you people, they even carry firearms and weapons into church. I know you can't, I know it's hard for you to believe. You know why? Because time is an ally of deceit. And when you don't know history, and if you don't know how things used to be in cultures, be it 50 years ago, 100 years ago, or across the seas, you're automatically going to assume that everything that is going on today is actual and factual while you got your head stuck in the sand. Let me let you in on something. Let me give you an example of how things change. All right? You know, today, when women are pregnant, they give a baby shower. Or let me go use this method. All right? If a woman is getting ready to get married, what do they call it? They're going to have a bridal shower. Isn't that right? 100 years ago, you try to tell them people we're going to give the bride a shower and see how people would respond. You see, because they didn't think that way. Just like they don't think the way that we do today. That's why it's important for us to go back to the old landmarks and seek for them, search for them, find them, and then we'll know how to function right and properly, because we got a bunch of liberals. We got a bunch of chaotic, psychotic people who want to strip guns right out of your hands. And I'm going to tell you what, in America, it's going to be, a lot of people going to die if they ever try to take the guns out of American hands, because you're talking about a firefight from hell. That's exactly what it'll be. But hey, imagine if every single person in that theater was carrying a gun. Would somebody possibly still got hurt and injured? Sure. But I know one thing, they would have been able to neutralize the attacker. Yeah, they would have too. I know one thing, if I was sitting in there, I would have been able to neutralize him. I promise you that. That's the reason why you should not go anywhere without your firearm. I mean, nowhere without your firearm. If you're flying on a plane, you're going to meet people, make sure that you're going to a place where they can hand you a firearm to carry on your person to protect yourself, just like they did when they drafted the Constitution years ago. And mind you, when you read the Constitution, it was not so much as, hey, you are only in charge of preserving yourself, your person, your family, your property, and your liberties. You and you alone. The police can't do nothing for you. The sheriff can't do nothing for you. They cannot stop crimes being perpetuated against you. They cannot stop injustices being perpetuated against you. They cannot stop evil or anyone who want to do you harm. They can't stop any of that, but yet and still, that right and that right alone is preserved by the greatest book that's ever written, the greatest selling book of all time, called the Bible. And not only the Bible, because Most High said he made my hands for war. I understand that Pastor Dow is a whole lot different than your little watered down Casper milk toast, sorry, passive, weak, spineless, cockroach, so-called pastors of today who call themselves leaders, who ain't doing nothing but, hey, they're cronies for the establishment. The First and Second Amendments is there to preserve your freedom of speech and your right to be able to carry your arms and to preserve your land. I mean, you can go on and on and on with it. But it's amazing, your freedom of religion, your freedom to worship the way you see fit, the way you want to. Well, you can't do that today, because every Christian church you go into, that's been hijacked from them, because they're all 501c3 now. That means they're under the governing entity. Now we go on, we get legalized gun registration. I mean, anything that they try to do to get around it, the Constitution, to get around anything that the documents have already been preserved and already been stated. Hey, you're dealing with psychopaths today. Chaotic, psychotic psychopaths. Laws written on books are not going to protect you from somebody wanting to do you harm. I don't care if it's an incelit, somebody who is just bent on hell, full of demonic spirits, or probably full of all these pharmaceutical drugs that causes all this psychotic, wicked behavior. Movies. You put this wicked thing in front of your eyes and it make think you some type of villain or something. What kind of coward would actually go into a place and throw some tear gas in and just start shooting people? What kind of coward is that? You see, I can tell you one thing. With the people I hang around with, we would have neutralized that attacker. And America, you better stop letting all these people trying to dupe you and deceive you out of your right to protect yourself, protect your family and your person. Now, first of all, you shouldn't be at no movie theater at old dark 30 in the morning anyway. You should be at home in the bed. That's what you should be. And I know you don't like it because you think after your citizen mindset. You know, well, I got a right to do it. I can go where I want to go. Well, I'll tell you what, you keep exercising your right and not using discretion. Keep going where you want to go. Keep doing what you want to do. But then when you don't comply with just sense, just common sense, and you don't exercise any type of discretion whatsoever at all, and you go out and something happens to you, I feel sorry for the parents who had the baby shot and dead. What you parents doing out there in the movie theater that night anyway? If you've been at home like sensible people, none of this would have never happened. But you can't stop it, right? Yeah, you can. You need to start discerning about where you go. You need to start calculating your movements. You need to be aware of your surroundings and your environment. You need to be aware of people who you're talking to. When you go to the store, just don't go down and let your guard down. You never know when there's a wicked person the next aisle over that may start shooting everybody in the store. You had better be prepared. And that's the truth. And that is the truth straightway. Now take a page out of the book of common sense.